All right, everyone, welcome to the Reseller Island podcast. My name is Jake. This is my co host, Sunny Las Vegas. There's a common phrase in our niche, in our community, that's projects, profits over projects. A lot of us, we grab things and we gravitate towards things that may need extra cleaning or repairs or things like that. Is it profitable? Yes. Is it time effective? Sometimes not. So we want to talk about cleaning and prepping and when you should pass on projects and when you should commit to them. So what do you think, Sonny?
This reminds me of jewelry because I do sell jewelry, and there's a lot of times when I bulk buy, say, mystery jars or just a whole bunch of stuff, say at the flea market, and I see some quality pieces, good names, has a maker mark, worthy of reselling, but it might be missing a rhinestone. And I'm like, you know what? I
Mhm.
got so much stuff, which people call craft jewelry, to sell it off as you can make something with it, projects, as you just mentioned. And I tend to have had the tendency to say, "I could fix this. It's worth
Yeah.
it." I never get around to it, and then it just starts to bundle up, and these one project ends up being several projects that never gets handled, and then it becomes overwhelming because I see it and I just want to get rid of it. So I've learned not to buy projects from doing it in the past.
Yeah. And I'm actually on the opposite side of that. I buy a ton of
Oh,
projects and I make a ton of money from projects. For example, I've got three different Dyson vacuums right here that I'm taking apart and selling piece by piece. All of those vacuums that I bought are broken, but I take them apart and I sell off the individual pieces that are still functioning, and I even repair some. So this, for example, this DVD VCR combo player. This is why we don't have an audio podcast, because I am too action oriented. This DVD VCR combo player, the VCR side does not work. If you put a tape in, it gets jammed and then it turns off. I know how to fix that. You just unscrew it, you tinker around a little bit, you clean off the laser disc, and then usually you're able to have a functioning DVD VCR combo player. So I bought that for $5. I could sell it for $25 for parts and still make a profit, or I can just put about 11 minutes of extra work into it, and then I can sell it for $60 or $70. So I think one of the main reasons why I make as much money as I do is because of projects, because a lot of people are intimidated by the projects, or they're not disciplined enough to stick to the projects, and then they just leave those behind for me, and I come and I grab them. And I also have trained different people and employees to be able to fix and clean and repair and stuff as well.
that's pretty awesome. You're teaching people to do it. I know I can do it. I just don't. I
Yeah.
I am working on discipline and being focused, and I'm doing pretty good. This past several weeks, especially starting my daily vlogs, that has helped me stay in track of actually seeing myself of what I'm actually doing and want to do to reach these goals that have, like paying off my truck. So projects are good, but with what
Yeah.
Jay said, you have to be disciplined enough to know that you could do it in a timely manner and not be the way I was, where it's just going to sit there and you can't make money if it's not listed.
And there's also a lot of instances where you can buy something that needs a project and then just sell it to someone who's willing to do that project. I was
Yep.
watching ADH Dave the other day, for example. He sold some tailor-made golf clubs that the grip was in bad condition, and so he marked them down $30, which was way too much. But he
Yeah.
got a quick sale. But yeah, so like I buy golf clubs with bad grips all the time, and I actually don't even mark them down whatsoever. I just see what the going rate is, and then I sell it for that, because the majority of people are going to buy it, and even if it has a great grip, they're going to take it off and replace it with their own anyway, because they want it to match their set. Same thing with baseball bats. A lot of people ask me, if I find a baseball bat with a bad grip, should I just leave it behind? And I say, no, buy it and put it up. You don't even have to put as is in the title. Just make sure that people are going to look for the grip photo anyway. And then if it's a bad grip, they'll replace it themselves, or they'll send an offer of $10 off or $5 off and said, hey man, I'm going to need to replace this grip. And I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So when I see a comp of something selling for $60 and it has a bad grip, I list it for $60. And then a lot of people will buy it at that price, or they'll just send me a 5 or 10 or $15 offer, just depending on the value of it.
Yeah, you know what's funny about the grips of golf clubs and baseball bats? I often find baseball grip tape. and I'll just
Yeah.
have it in the photo with it to say, "Hey, it's messed up in the descriptions," because I'm big on descriptions. It's not wordy, it's just enough. And
Uh-huh.
I'll have with, the grip tape seen in photo number 2 or something like that. But that stuff's usually cheap and usually people look over it. So when you're sourcing for stuff, I would say look for stuff like that too.
Do you have like a process of coming home from the thrift store? Where do your items go? Because a lot of them do need to be cleaned and prepped, right?
Say bats need to be cleaned. Even sometimes golf clubs, they might have some smudges on there that can easily be taken off.
Yep.
I do have a section in my garage next to my deep freezer where all my bats and golf clubs go to, but they're still divided in that little section. And if anything I feel needs to be cleaned or I'm able to just make a visual difference for photos, I'll take it over to my kitchen with a hot rag of water and clean it off, and
Mhm.
then take photos outside where the turf's at. So some people are big on white photos, gray photos. I don't care because it still sells anyway. I feel like the turf is
Yep.
gonna match, the greenery, the field, where it's going to, and it just makes for a lively, more attractive photo that catches your attention.
So for all of your items though, because all of your items that you get from thrift stores at least are going to have stickers with the
Yeah.
price tag and things like that. So you take them home from the thrift store. Do you have this space where you put them to be prepped? And then do you prep them and then put them in another place to be photoed? Or do you just like take the stickers off, clean it, and then take a photo and then do another item, take the stickers off, do
I
photos?
I don't do it
What's your
one by
process there?
one. I don't take
Uh-huh.
photos one by one. I found it a lot easier and time effective to take photos of everything and then in that order list the items and then put them all in that one place rather than one by one list to take photos and then repeat. That takes up a lot of time for me, at least how I've seen the difference of doing one item by one and then just taking photos through everything and then list it, or a draft and then take photos and plug them in. But they all go in the same place.
Yep. Yeah. So every day I get home from the thrift store, I take all of my items and I put them to the right of me right here. So this is the to be processed and listed. It still has like the stickers and stuff on, and this is super dirty. So all of the items that I purchase go right there. Then they're cleaned on this desk that you guys are all sitting on right now. And then they put over here, and this is my to be listed pile. And so every single item that I have at least has like a sticker or something that needs to be cleaned off of it. Even yard sale stuff, we clean everything.
Yeah.
So we clean this stuff and then we put it right there, and then I list it later. And I have employees who do the prepping and the shipping, and now they're also taking over more responsibilities for listing as well. And then I just do
Yeah.
all the sourcing, and then yeah, it's just a full time job for everybody. We just get it all done. So I did a video about 3 days ago where I found this vintage Sony phone, and it was yellowed. And I just love the comments of like, "That's never gonna sell. It's too yellowed." And it's like, dude, you'll be surprised, man. So like a lot of people will talk themselves out of buying like a golf
Right.
club, for example, because the grip is bad, or oh, this vintage food processor is too yellowed. No one's gonna buy it. People just buy it, man. Like it it's just so interesting to me, and all you have to do is knock off $3 or $5. Sometimes you don't like I when it comes to things like that, I don't even really give people a discount. I just price it at market, and then I allow offers, and I just let people dictate how much they're willing to spend for the condition, and it works out really well for me.
It's funny you say that because the other day I forget who it was. It might have been at the flea market. I think it was a purse or a handle, and somebody was like, "Oh, there's a little scratch on the eye," which was like on the edge where you don't look at it, at face front. You really got to look for the scratch. And I said, yeah, like people are gonna go up and like, let me see the eyes of your purse, the
Mhm,
design that's on there. And the person laughed, and the vendor giggled at the person, like, that's kind of true. So you are right. People do push themselves out of a really good buy sometimes. And sometimes the items, there's more to items. There's stories behind them. There's different
mhm,
meanings behind them. It's not just the value of monetary wise, but something that somebody's looking for it for. And sometimes they might not even want a baseball bat for themselves or going to use it, but they might have experienced something that they are looking for it to just have them keep this keepsake memory for themselves, which I often get. I'm sure you have with how much stuff you sold. People will message you and say, "Hey, thanks. I wanted this because of so and so, and this is
mhm.
what this meant to me." I'm pretty sure a lot of us have had those messages, and that's pretty cool because sometimes you don't even realize what you're selling, other than you just see it sells for a pretty good price.
I've sold a ton of broken VCR players. The majority of the broken ones are sold to people who are going to repair them and then sell them on Amazon. But a lot of times I'll sell them broken, and I've gotten a few messages saying, "Hey, thanks for selling this to me. My dad, who just died a couple years ago, had this exact same VCR,
Mhm.
and we got rid of it. And I'm not even gonna watch movies on it. We're just gonna put it there. So every time
Yeah,
I walk by, I can remember my dad and stuff." It's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, sick. People just buy stuff. It's great. It's awesome to be the person that's able to like facilitate that for people as well. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is sweet. It's meaningful. And I've always seen reselling more than just making money, which is part of the process of why we do it, to pay off bills or pay off things or who knows what, for our own reasons. But there's always more to it than what people realize, that resellers are bad and horrible. It's like, you say so, but there's a lot of good that comes out of it.
You just have to make a sassy video or two on TikTok, and people will point out the bad, and other people will point out the good, and then it'll all just be there in the comments for you.
Uh,
Qualifies what is like too much of a job for you, and what is like, this is a project, but I'm still going to pick it up.
so, say if I was to watch your videos, which I do, but to see even that you showed me how to fix, say, a VCR, I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't do that because I know I wouldn't do it. That would be my project that I
Yeah.
would not work on. But the ones where you take apart the vacuums there, that would be a project I would do. That would be a simple one rather than fixing something. It's not fixing it, it's just taking it apart and having separate listings. And some items do sell, you make more off of piecing them out than
Oh,
them
100%.
being together, which I find extremely odd yet fascinating because we are resellers. We want more for less. And if you could turn one item into three items and make more off of
Mhm.
that, then I'm all for it.
Returns go down significantly with parts and pieces as well. Sometimes, like, so I've sold the Jack LaLanne. Is that how you pronounce it? You know what I'm talking about?
No?
Those juicers. It's Jack. Someone who knows will correct me if I get it wrong. But I've sold the Jack LaLanne juicers. They're big internally, like the whole ones, and sometimes they get sent back. But if I part out each individual piece, my return rate goes from like 4.5% to like down, like under 2%, under 1%. So like parting things out is actually my favorite thing to do. I part out a lot of stuff, and I'm able to get more money, less returns, and have more items to keep the economy of my store moving and flowing and stuff. It's great. I love it.
I do love it. And it makes me want to say to the audience, thank you for being here with us. If you find an item, right, as of this video or recently, put it in our Reseller Island podcast group on
On
Facebook
Facebook.
and share what it is you found and what you pieced it out for, and just the prices and info of what these things sold for you. I think that would be pretty cool to see how relevant this is within a timely manner. Than I did that a year ago, because you do this often. You find those exact vacuums. Like, I've seen you two or three times come to Vegas. He found it at the Deseret Industries, and then he went
Deseret.
to the bins the second time, or maybe even the same day. And he was like, a photo, hey, I found another one. I'm like, geez, dude, you're like this vacuum whisperer. But it's not something that's uncommon. And that's also what I consider a bolo that you are able to find more often than the rare bolos that you probably will never find, but still look for.
I find a Dyson vacuum for under $20 every single day of my life if I want to. You just got to go to enough thrift stores and bins locations, and dude, they like Dyson's everywhere, man. Dyson is it's available. You can find it for sure. But yeah, like when it comes to projects, so I know you sell jeans, but do you sell other clothing as well?
Yeah, I sell all types of apparel, from jackets. I sell jackets year round. There's a project. Okay, so there are projects that I do buy, but not projects for me to take care of. For example, my buddies out at yesterday's fits here in Las Vegas, Jesse and
Yeah, it's a
Austin.
dope
They
store.
have you been there before?
Yeah, I met him at the bins a while back
The
too.
Benz, yeah, he's often there. Really good guys. If you're in Las Vegas, Go check out yesterday's fits across from UNLV, down Maryland. But these guys are amazing. They find incredible stuff, and they have one of their friends, Trevor, who works on items like that. Like say a jacket that I have, a vintage starter jacket with a busted zipper, where there's actual
Mhm.
gluing or the sewing of the zippers coming undone, but it's still a great jacket. And I'm gonna be giving that to him to work on. And I ended up getting that at the bins for what, maybe $2 because it's still pretty light. So I figured that'd be cool for him, and he could make, who knows, probably like $80, maybe even more than that. I just thought it would be cool rather than everybody else throwing it away and not seeing it for anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if I didn't know Trevor or somebody that could do this, that I would be happy giving it to, I think I would actually cut out the patches of it and sell it that way because that's becoming a thing now of people cutting out the patches on these, say, damaged pieces of apparel. And
Uh-huh.
even, yeah, mainly apparel, maybe apparel.
Yeah, I mean, upcycling
Yeah.
is trending on TikTok all the time, and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's kind of where I was going because a lot of people make a full time living buying the junky stuff and repairing zippers and buttons and sewing. You'll never catch me doing that for sure. But there's a ton of people because also like I was saying, like you can just sell it to someone who's willing to do that. And there's always, if you can find a vintage shirt that is missing 3 buttons, someone will still buy it. Or people that don't even really, there's a lot of people that don't even care. They're just like, I don't care that's missing 3 buttons. I'll still wear it. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times we skip the profit because we think there's a project when we can just avoid the project altogether. Just have someone else do it, or just list it on eBay and have someone else buy it and take care of it. Because people will go onto Amazon for a flannel, and they'll see, these prices are too high, and then they'll remember the same flannel that they wore back in the 70s and 80s, and they're like, I wonder if that's available. And they'll type it into eBay, they'll type it into Google, and sometimes even eBay, and then they'll see the eBay and Mercari listings, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I wore that exact jacket. I don't care that it's missing 2 buttons. This is going to be an undershirt underneath my jean jacket anyway. Yeah, let's buy this. Or it's someone who's like, oh, I grew up in the Great Depression. I know how to sew buttons. Let me grab this. So don't skip those profits, man.
Sometimes even the garment itself might be damaged, but the buttons are actually worthy of reselling if
Hmm.
they're unique, valuable ones. There's some really good artists who've made some buttons out there that go for pretty big dollars. And I don't mean $5, $10. They sell for much more, 50 and up.
Let's talk shoes. There's a
They
lot of work that goes into reselling shoes. I don't sell a ton of them because when you get them at thrift stores and garage sales, they're nasty and you got to clean them.
I love smelling
Um,
them.
I followed Dealing with Dalton and
I was gonna mention
Ethan.
them.
I think he still goes by the college reseller or something like that. Um, but yeah, they I see those guys on TikTok all the time just cleaning shoes. Like they'll do a TikTok live and they'll like answer a few questions and they'll just be sitting there cleaning shoes all day long. That's projects, man. But like they make a ton of profit. So a lot of times it is worth it, and especially if you're a niche seller, projects are probably even more relevant and worth working out. But yeah, dude, like you can make a ton of money off of shoes, but there is a lot of work involved in it.
I've never thought of cleaning shoes as a project.
Yeah,
It's just cleaning shoes to me. But I guess you're right, and that's what makes it cool when you talk to other people and start to learn what words they may have a different definition for.
exactly.
So that's pretty cool.
So because like my Deseret Industries, they wash all the clothing, and if they're not clean, they don't even hit the floor. So like people ask me all the time, do you wash and do you steam and iron all your clothes? And I say nope. My thrift store is really awesome. They clean everything for me. I buy it straight off the rack. I list it on eBay and I sell it. If I had to wash the clothing and steam it, I would not sell any clothing whatsoever. That project would not be worth it for me. But for
I
other
buy
people, like you said, it's just part of their routine.
Yeah. I buy very little items that need cleaning. I mean, I might wipe some shoes down or find a plush with a little smudge on there. And I know for most of the plushes that I do pick up, which has been a while since I picked up any toys like that, baby wipes clean off a lot of stuff. and I don't go through the whole item of cleaning it. It's just little areas of something. So, man, now that bringing the projects, I feel like I do buy a lot of projects, but some things that are so simple that take just a few seconds or maybe even 2 minutes
Yep.
with shoes of wiping the midsoles down. And that's pretty much it. I don't go into, I'm going to wash t-shirts unless I have a bundle and I know that I could sell them fast.
No, yeah, there's people that completely avoid categories because of the projects that are built into them. And that's like your business model. You should make those decisions, and those can be quality decisions. But a lot of times we just like completely write things off because it's a little bit too much work. But the death of projects is the death pile. A lot of people just tell themselves, like you said in the beginning of the episode, they tell themselves, you know what, I can clean these shoes that definitely went through a mud field. I'll get to them, you know. I mean, you never do. Or yeah, I'll take apart this vacuum because I know that there's like three valuable pieces on it internally. You know,
Yeah, I'll list new stuff fast than stuff that I've had sitting around that is worth more than the stuff that I just purchased.
yeah, and then because there are things. So even I have like a small bucket of broken phones that I'll get to eventually. I've just been behind because of my surgery, and we went on a lot of trips this month and stuff. And now my wife's starting her soccer season. Her first game will be yesterday when you guys are listening to this. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna have more time to do more stuff while she's on opposite sides of the country playing soccer games and stuff. But yeah, I just haven't had a ton of time for other projects aside from the four major things that I have to get done every single day. I just tackle those and then just add a few things on. But I'm excited to get to a few things that I haven't been able to. But a lot of people, this is every single day. They're just like, oh, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, and then they have a full closet or a full garage or two bedrooms in their house or everything underneath their bed. It can just get pretty nuts.
My biggest death pile,
Yeah,
my office.
yeah.
It's not bad. I just don't have it organized to where the glass is here. I cleared out a lot of it. I just have a lot of empty boxes now that's like knickknacks of things that I'm like separating. So it's like the the what storm before the calm, not the calm before the storm. So I did really good too with the flea market, clearing out a lot of stuff this past weekend. So that definitely helped. And looking at doing it again end of April
Yeah.
before heading out to Hawaii, I think on the 25th.
Oh, that's sick. No, yeah, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the flea market in a second. But what's your setup like at your place? Are you like a 3 bedroom and you have the whole like third bedroom to yourself as your office, or is that like a bonus? Or
We have 3 bedrooms, 2 offices, mine and my wife's, and
uh-huh.
then I still use some of the garage, which I've been clearing out at the same time, getting organized. So what I had before, when I want to get back to, I have a desk over here to my left, and it kind of has this L shape over to my desk where I'm at,
Yes.
and that's where I have like my light box, and I take photos and I get it to the right, and then it gets packaged, almost pre-packaged, not entirely with boxes, because sometimes I do have buyers that buy multiple things on eBay. Um, I'm getting a little bit more of viewer buys, and that's pretty awesome because things are moving fast as soon as I'm showing it in a video, especially daily vlogs. It's helped out a ton. So just trying to figure out things, not only how to process faster, but market myself and my videos to show what I have that's available if somebody wants it. And I didn't think about that at first. And it wasn't until Kevin, we went out to Phoenix, Arizona for the camp listing party meetup. And there was a lot of posh sellers out there, which was unique. And there was very little YouTubers, reselling
Uh-huh.
YouTubers. But Kevin was speaking up there and he said that that was his thing from the get-go was advertising what he had to sell on, say, eBay to get it in and out. And I don't know why it never dawned on me to take my time to show and tell people, hey, if you like this, let me know. I was always just, I'm gonna list this and it's gonna sell. So I just those little words that he shared, it's always just dawned on me like, come on, Sonny, you gotta figure this stuff out, man. But you don't know until you do. And that's why I really enjoy listening to people and picking their brains because there's these little things that I'm not picking up on, but I also have a lot more to give that if people did the same thing too, they'll see what could work for them if they're not finding things like apparel. I do all kinds of stuff, glass, apparel. I used to be big in electronics, but now I'm kind of wanting to learn one thing at a time to almost get really knowledgeable in it and then pick that up with something else from apparel to glass, hard goods, ceramics, and then just be all sound in a way to know a lot more than just really niche down because niching down doesn't work for me.
So what do you say to all the people that are like, well, why are you creating a YouTube channel teaching us about stuff when you just sell all your stuff to your viewers?
Well, I don't sell all my stuff to my viewers. That just happens to come with it. But the whole point of being a reseller is to find items and sell. And if you
Yep.
want to say do a business, why would you be looking at people that are outside of the window rather than marketing yourself as a content creator to say, hey, I have this. And if you know anybody that's interested, how about thinking about them too? Which is one thing I do on Whatnot a lot. And when I do auctions, hey, when you're looking at this, consider birthdays, anniversaries. I'm trying to throw ideas in their head that they may not be thinking about to interest them maybe to buy. And anybody that comes across your way, you got to talk to them too and ask them, what is it that you do? What do you like to look for? And I have that. If they reply, hey, I have something like that. And they might even say, well, can you send me photos and you exchange emails, which isn't very hard at all. It doesn't mean that that always works and you get a sell. But
Mhm.
majority of the stuff I do sell, 90% is going to be on eBay and accumulation with knickknacks. So whatnot, I'm kind of steering away from until I start getting into storage units.
I've just always found it fascinating that there's just a lot of people within our community that like think it's not. It's just a really weird concept that people are like, well, if you don't make all of your money from eBay or even from eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, like you're not a true eBay reseller. It's like, who told you that you should only have one stream of income? Like who made the idea popular where it's like I make all of my money from eBay? Why? Like, why would you set yourself up, put all your eggs in one basket, and then the federal government decides, oh, you know what, first doctrine law, that's actually not a real thing anymore. You guys are done. And why would I don't know why it's so popular to only have one stream of income.
I think sometimes people say it without realizing others might take it literally, but
Mm-hmm.
we all have, as I brought up before, we all have different ways of sourcing. I'm very fortunate to source every day if I wanted to, someplace here in Las
Yep.
Vegas. And my best one is the flea market. I love the deals that I find there. I could make $1,000 every time I go to the flea market. I can make $1,000 back or more with less
Yep.
than $150, $200. Sometimes not even that much. Like I just bought some vintage Cloisonne pendants, and these are pretty good to come across, and they're hard to find. And when I sell them, they usually go for around $30 to $40. And these are new ones to me that even little ones like this, I just have. I'm gonna pull a J right and show you what I got. But this little
Holy,
thing right here, this little
yeah, I can't
cloisonne,
see it.
exactly, it's gonna be hard to see.
There you go.
This little thing right here goes for easily $10. I got around 70 pieces, and you might be thinking, "Wow, $10, that's not a lot." I paid $1 for 70 pieces, or $1 each for 70 pieces. And then you move up to the bigger ones, which are even harder to find. This could go for around 30, 40, $50. I'm going to have it in an auction, which is why I'm saying 30, 40, $50. Or I could throw it up on eBay and price it at $60. Either somebody buys it straight out or they just send an offer for say 35, 40. I got 70 pieces of these. I could make around $1,000
Boom,
if I
Steve.
wanted.
Boom.
Yeah, I could make around $1,000 off of these 70 pieces if I wanted to, if I wanted to wait it out. But I also want to make fast money, good money in a shorter period of time, which I'm going to have an auction on the 24th, which I think it was going to be pretty good. And then some glass pieces, of course. I always try to have some glass pieces. I love glass.
That's on knickknacks or whatnot on the 24th?
It's going to be on knickknacks. Yeah.
Knickknacks, nice. No, yeah, nice, well diversified portfolio of reselling, man. It's good. It's good to do some
Yeah.
auctions.
Earlier you
Go ahead.
said, why would somebody tell somebody just sell on, say, eBay that they are 100% eBay reseller? That's them. That works for them. You have to
Mhm.
say try it, and if it doesn't work for you, don't blame them. You got to test out the waters and see what works. And that's kind of a comment that we got about cross listing on the past podcast, of people saying how um, cross listing is working for them. It doesn't work for everybody else. And it could work
Yeah.
for a while until it doesn't. But what I like, I'm going to throw this back to the other podcast. You have to try things for yourself and see what works and stick with what works. And say if Poshmark or Mercari doesn't work or isn't working for now, but you're getting a little bit of sales, this is not just as good as you want it, you could always come back later and try it again. Don't limit yourself to your own success. You have to define yourself of what you want to do, how you want to do it, and make the most of it rather than using somebody and say, they told me to only do this. Don't, I'm just getting to the point. Don't limit yourself on things. You have to
Yeah.
try everything for yourself and only point the finger at yourself because there's no what ifs. As we grow up and get older, time is the only thing that doesn't stop for anybody. So make the
Yeah.
most of it.
I've always been a someone who thinks that you should definitely have multiple streams of income, but you have to be careful with that because sometimes we spread ourselves too thin into
Right.
multiple different projects,
Yeah.
and then I talk about this on my channel a lot, but I heard a quote. I wish I remembered what podcast it was from, but it says if you chase two rabbits, they both get away. So you got to just focus on your rabbit. But with the with adding in balance of life into that, you got to have multiple streams of income, in my opinion, if you want to be truly successful and have peace of mind in this life. I've never had only one source of income since I started making money when I was like 15 or 16. I always had my job plus I was mowing lawns or always had my was always knocking doors and selling pest control, but I was also making money on social media selling Twitter accounts to girls that want to be famous. And when I was before I started, let's see, from like 2013 to 2022, one of my main sources of income is I would just build Instagram accounts and Twitter accounts, and I'd get them to like 80,000 followers, and then I'd sell them to people that wanted to jump start for like $700, $1,500, things like that. So I always had multiple accounts growing, and I just do like a car niche, and I would do I like a oh my I think my AirPod just died. Or I would do like a fitness page niche, or just do a bunch of different niches, and I'd grow them to a certain amount, and then I'd delete all the photos and sell them to people. But yeah, and then just through investing in real estate and stuff, if you're focusing on one stream of income, and that stream of income goes away, you have to start over somewhere else. And your whole life isn't going to end if you lose that one stream of income, because humans we're able to adapt quickly and we can just go find another job. But man, if you can have two or three or four more streams of income playing in the background while you're getting that other job or that other opportunity, it's a lot. It's a lot nicer. So
Yeah,
yeah.
get really good at something and then piggyback off of it with something new that still is in the same avenue of what you want to do. Unless you just want to do it all, really don't limit yourself. You won't know until you actually try it yourself. And through that experience, you're going to learn things that you didn't know before. And it might help you figure out some things to just get a leap ahead rather than baby steps or stepping back on some stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, man, you got all your taxes done? Are you
Actually
good to
gonna
go
do
on
it.
that?
No, I'm gonna do it this weekend. My wife just reminded me. She was like, "Hey, dude," she was like, "Taxes are due next month," and I was like, "Yeah, we're like in January." She was like, "No, we're not in January." I was like, "Oh, okay, let
Yeah,
me go
dude,
put it down."
it's
Which
it's
it won't
March.
be hard.
It's
I just have eBay, whatnot, knickknacks, and then through PayPal when I've done some graphic designs, it's not gonna be hard. Not for me, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, I thought that I was done, but then my accountant called me today and said he needed another form of something. So we're still
Mm.
still figuring that out. Always looking forward to the tax bill at the beginning of each year. It's always great. Do you pay quarterly taxes, or do you just do it all in one hit?
I do it all in one, all at the end of
Yeah.
the year. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always done all in one, but the last like 3 years I've been making quarterly payments.
I'm
So
thinking next year might change only because as things are
you guys are
progressing,
making so much money.
I'm making a lot more money than what I did. And it's all because it's been like 2 months now. I've been getting organized and going through my debt piles, which at first was my office, my um, garage and my storage unit, which I just got maybe 6 months ago. But because of getting organized, it has really ramped up a lot to have a better flow of things, and it's paid off. So don't get unorganized, folks. Don't be like me, other than making good money and better decisions. But start getting organized, even if you're just starting. Really look at the space that you have and amount of things. Really start looking at your area and try to figure out what would be a good way to sort this up and not just throw it all in one corner like I did for the longest time, because it will catch up to you.
Yeah, staying organized, man.
Yeah, don't be
Yeah,
like
we're getting really excited. My wife, like I said, she has her first game this weekend, and then she has another season in the fall, and then after that, we're gonna be moving to northern Utah. We're hoping to find a place that has a nice big backyard, and not to be too much like Kevin, but definitely gonna have a. I'm hoping to put a 24 by 30 shed in the back. That would be nice.
yeah. My nickname for Kevin is Kevin Three Sheds.
Kevin Three Sheds. Because right now I've had a 3,000 item store. I'm down to about 1,500. But when I'm in northern Utah, I think I want a 5,000 item store. So we're definitely and it's gonna have a lot of vacuums and KitchenAid mixers, and I got a couple commercial microwaves and stuff too. So I'm gonna need some space. What's the average garage, two-car garage size?
What do you mean?
Two
Like
car,
size,
two car
dimensions?
dimensions, yeah.
It's probably like a
18 by 20.
oh, I was gonna say 20 by 30.
Yeah,
That's
18 by
pretty deep.
20 is 24 by 24. Yeah, I want a 30 by 24. That'd be sweet. That'll be like that's probably like $30,000 though, for sure.
Or get a guest house
A little
if it already
casita.
has one. Yeah, a little casita.
A little casita. But yeah, no, you guys have probably noticed I'm a bit sunburnt.
A little
My
bit,
wife and I,
just a smidget.
just a smidge. On my mission in Mexico, they called me Elder Camarón, which was Elder Shrimp, because I was
Yeah,
always
red.
slightly pink. But yeah, me and my wife, we went to Sedona, and it was spring break. It was snowing. It was wild. Um, but yeah, I wasn't gonna tell this story, but my wife told me that I had to.
Oh,
So we wake up early on Saturday and we go to the cathedral hike, and there was a ton of rain and stuff, so they actually closed down a few of the roads, and so we drove we drove up to a road and there were some cones, and I got out and I talked to the lady and I said, hey, so can we just not drive all the way to the parking lot? How do we actually get to the hike? And she's like, oh, you just have to go drive down this way. There's like a shuttle like 1.6 miles away, and then they just come like every 15 minutes. And she's like, but don't you live here? I'm like, no. I'm like, she's like, you look familiar though. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe you like recognize me from my YouTube. And she's like, oh, are you J Wright Flips? And I'm like, dude, no way is that. She's like, yeah, dude, I go to thrift stores. I don't like sell things, but like I just go to thrift stores and I like watch your eBay content. And she like moves the cone. She's like, you guys can just come on in. And she let us park
and
at the hike, and we were able to do it. I'm like, wow.
another task for everybody who's watching this: when you are ever in a jam, say you are Jay Wright Phillips's buddy. All right, whether it's a speeding, no, don't get in a speeding ticket. But if you're ever in traffic, just say, "I'm with Jay Wright Phillips. He's my buddy," and they're gonna let you go through.
Dude, just think
Allegedly.
about this for a second. There's 300 million Americans. I have like 38,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is 0.001% of the American population knows who I am, or like subscribes to me. And the chances of having that 0.001% actually recognize me and give me like that special treatment or whatever, dude, that was just so nuts, man. I couldn't believe it.
If it wasn't
Because like,
recorded, it never happened.
yeah, no picture
I
didn't
believe
happen.
it happened. I believe it happened.
No, but now with deep fakes, now freaking recording it isn't even proof enough. You know what those are?
No, I don't.
AI, dude, AI is just getting
Oh,
so
oh,
good
yes,
at
I
like
do know. Yeah.
AI is just getting so good that like you can fake images and you can fake videos, and like I was watching this this video of this like late 1970s, early 1980s sports reporter, and he was giving some analysis on a game, and then all of a sudden he just like got like extremely racist out of nowhere. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what they were saying back in the 70s and 80s. This is wild. And then it turns out it was a deep fake that they like that actually wasn't him. They just like moved his lips to make it actually sound like, and they like recorded his voice perfectly, and then they just AI'd some words in there. I'm like, dude, I totally would have believed it if I didn't hear later that it was faked. Like, it's how are they even going to regulate that? That's going to get nuts.
That's a big controversy that they're having.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, this made national news the other day. Apparently, there's this middle school, this middle schooler like AI'd one of his fellow classmates um, onto like naked photos and sent it all around the high school. And it's like dude, just this like 12-year-old, and it's not her, but they like deep faked it. Like, dude, it's nuts, man, how all this is going on. I just have no idea how they're going to be able to regulate it and take care of that issue, because AI is just getting stronger.
Yeah, it's
So like,
intellectual. Scary.
President Sonny, what do you do? How do you regulate deep fakes?
I get rid of President Sonny would get rid of all of the internets.
Dude, because so my friend, dude, it's wild. I guess we're gonna talk about AI for a second. My friend sent me this voicemail, and it's me. It's me talking, and it's like some things and phrases that I've never said. And I'm like, dude, how did you do this? And he's like, I just had my AI listen to 36 hours worth of your content, and it learned who you were, and then I asked it questions, and it responded as if it was you. And like it like said some things that I wouldn't have said, but like it was like, oh, I actually kind of agree with that. Yeah, cool. So it's like, just imagine like some of these podcasts and people that have like 700,000 hours of content, like of their beliefs and their philosophies and how they would answer questions, and then like AI can just learn that and then pretend to be them, and then they can make themselves look like that person too. It's like, dude, this is nuts. It's gonna be wild.
There's already when AI started kicking off, which wasn't long ago, with all of the apps and AI could do this and chat GBT, this and that. There was
Mm-hmm.
already people using that voice generator to scare people. For example, here in Vegas, people were sharing that, say, a grandson called the grandpa and was scared, saying, "Grandpa, I need help. These guys are after me. They're
Yeah.
going to hurt
Uh-huh.
me, and I need $10,000." And the grandpa's freaking out. And they usually target the elderly, which is why I
Yep.
always tell people watch out for scams. And I share it in community tabs like, "This is not me," because people use YouTubers too in the comments. They pretend to be people, and people fall for it because they care about you and
Oh
they
yeah.
don't want anything wrong. So this elderly grandfather sent $10,000, and then the grandson ended up calling and saying, "Hey, grandpa, how are you doing?" He's like, "Are you all right?" He's freaking out. He's like, "I just sent money." He's like, "That wasn't me," and it was already too late. He already had
Yeah.
sent them the money, and it's just sad. You really got
It's
to look
wild.
out for people. Yeah,
Yeah, you really have to. Because I mean, I use AI every single day. I have, and if any of you guys are looking for an app or an AI assistant, I use Copilot by Microsoft.
I do too.
It's $20 a month, and it has Chat GPT 4, which means it can read current internet. The first iterations of Chat GPT, it would only go back to like 2019. So
Yeah,
if you asked like who is J Red Flips, it would have come back with nothing. But now it can actually scan the internet, and it's actually cool. Like I'll say like, tell me about, you know, Cat the Nurse
sports or
Flipper,
anything. Yeah,
and then it'll like look at her Facebook page and her YouTube, and it'll rip off a ton of information. It'll be like, oh, Kat is a woman who lives in Florida who does reselling, and she teaches about it on YouTube. Like it's pretty crazy. But yeah, like I
yeah.
use it every day for titles on TikToks, not titles, descriptions and things like that. And my views have actually gone up. My average per video is going up ever since I started using that, because I can just say like, hey, make a description for a TikTok or an Instagram about looking for a new pair of shoes to wear from a thrift store. And then I can be like, oh, make it 600 characters, make it 5,000 characters, shorten it, lengthen it, add some hashtags, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah, you could also say, ask it to be like, be more direct or be
Yep.
more mindful or caring, and it somehow brings it up. But you're right, there is a difference of, I would say, the base chat GBT of we can't do that from 4 years to now. It's the older information.
Yep. No, yeah, like I'll ask ChatGPT, I'll be like, is it bad to drink soda? And then it'll be super neutral. It will be like, they're like, it's like, let's just ask it right now. Let's see what it says. Because it'll say like, oh yeah, like there's been studies that say like it's not good or bad, and then you're like, okay, be more direct, and then they're like, yeah, it leads to obesity
Mm,
and diabetes. So
yeah,
is
it's pretty
soda
intriguing.
bad for you? And like even right here, let's go back. Jeez. So like it'll say, I can say like, hey, be more creative, be more balanced, or be more precise. It's actually pretty cool. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. Not a lot of people are interested in AI, so we can move on to a different topic. But I find it super interesting.
I It is interesting, but usually people tend to, what can I get away with, and this is horrible, rather than keeping it about what it would benefit you with.
Yeah, no, it can totally benefit you too, and
Right.
like it's just gonna change just gonna change a lot of things because I was about to go onto Fiverr, that it's
Yeah.
like Upworks. It's just like a site. And I was gonna pay someone a couple $100 to design a remote control plush for me, but I just had I just had AI do it. It was awesome. I just had design a remote control plush that says J Right Flips and sent it out. I'm like,
So
okay, sweet. Can you make it look more like a Logitech Harmony 650? Let me try that. Sent it to me. I'm like, wow, dude, this is nuts.
so
This is really
are
good.
you telling those who are listening in that you're gonna make some J-Ride plush remotes?
I am. Yep.
Oh,
Yep. I'm gonna put them available for pre-order, do all that stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna make some remotes. It's gonna say J Right Flips on it. It's gonna say turn on sales. So if your sales are struggling, you can just turn them on with the remote control. And I
oh
sell a ton of
wow.
remotes.
Is it, what is that? I have it. I put it to the side, but I have the Eneman. Is it gonna be like an Eneman? There you go.
Yeah, so it'll be like this, but this is I think this is American Arbitrage's plush, right?
I think it's
Carry. Yeah. Yeah, you can go to americanarbitrage.com and you can buy these.
I thought that was Flip the Worlds. I never
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
guess.
yeah, maybe it's Flip the World.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Flip the
And
World.
Flip the World, he just barely got a tattoo on his thigh. I think it says Reseller Clickbait podcast on it, right?
Oh, I bet he did.
Yeah.
Kinky.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So I'm gonna make a little plush remote. I guess I'm just a sellout completely. I'm gonna sell remote. I'm gonna sell plushes to my audience, and I get recognized by people at Sedona, and they let me go on hikes when I shouldn't be able to drive past a cone. But whatever. I'm just kidding. Dude, I'm looking at a picture right here on my Google Assistant of Machu Picchu. Have you ever
Oh,
been to South America?
just on the border, pretty much. Nothing like deep in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I've been to Mexico, but I guess that's considered Central America. But if you ask people in Mexico, they'll actually get pretty pissed because you know how we say there's 7 continents, there's North America and South America. They say it's all just one America, and they get really upset when you make that distinction. I'm like, it's in textbooks, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like we're all American. Sure, cool. But yeah, I've never been to like the South of America, like Brazil or Portugal. Portugal. Um, Brazil speaks Portuguese. I've never been to Brazil or Peru or anything like that, but it seems pretty cool. What's the farthest that you've ever traveled?
Iraq.
You went to
So,
did you? Oh yeah.
yeah, because of deployment twice. But other than that, usually just stayed within the states. Korea, Iraq. That's pretty much it.
You went to Korea as well.
Yeah, I was there. I was stationed there, and I ended up staying there for 14 months, and that was when the FIFA Cup happened back in 2000, 2001. That was
Oh,
amazing.
that's sweet, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. The freaking city was shaking. The stadium was like a roar, and it was miles away, and things were trembling almost like an earthquake. That's how awesome it was. It was
Uh,
freaking amazing. Yeah, we were out in Wijambu. There's a bunch of names probably nobody cares about, but Korea was an amazing place. That's when I learned I knew about three-piece suits, but in
uh-huh.
Korea, you could have like an eight-piece suit. You could break it down from pants, shoes, belt, tie, like secret pockets and a leather jacket, and it would all be for like $100. It was an amazing place to shop and get custom apparel from.
Yeah, that's wild. No, yeah, so I'm Mormon. I went on my mission to Mexico, and then I have an older friend who went on his mission way back in the day to Spain. And he said one day him and his companion were just walking the streets during the FIFA Cup, and they're like, "Dude, why are we even doing this, man? No one's gonna open their doors. No one's gonna talk to us." And he said they were just walking down the street, and then all of a sudden the whole city started to rumble, and he thought there was an earthquake,
Yeah.
but it was literally people just screaming "goal" because someone scored during the FIFA Cup. Like, dude, like we think the Super Bowl is cool, but like, dude, people like the FIFA World Cup is it is everything to a lot of people, you know?
Yeah, I knew it would be, and this was before I was a reseller, right? Before I even knew a
Yeah.
concept of reselling. This was back in 99, 2000 when I was there. Um, 2001. So I knew they had all these banners of the FIFA and
Uh-huh.
and just things all over the place. They had these like Oriental Korean light fixtures, the paper ones that you could smash them down and they open up, right? Like a bubble
Mhm.
almost. Dude, I snagged like 50 of them, and I was like, these are coming home with me. And when I got to the States, I was selling them. People were like, "Where'd you get that from?" I was like, "Oh, cool story. I was in Korea during the FIFA Cup, and people were buying them up. I sold them. I had no idea. Damn, I didn't realize I was selling stuff from
So you've been
that
a
far.
reseller for longer than you knew.
Yeah, dude, I'm an OG, OG.
Well, there's a I'm a Resell It. Shout out to Shagun. His I'm a Resell It here on
Shake it.
YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does he'll like go to like Thailand and thrift. He has a
yeah.
few videos of him thrifting on the Asian continent. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. He did there's flips everywhere. He can make money everywhere.
Yeah, that dude knows his electronics too.
Yeah. No, yeah,
He's
I like talking to him because
yeah.
we both sell similar stuff.
Did you know, speaking of Shagan, if you haven't heard about him, he's an amazing guy. I've got to meet him several times here in Las Vegas. He has a brother here, but he lives out in Chicago, but he travels. But he also is really good at chess, playing chess. And I was like,
Oh,
dude,
really?
you should
I'll have to play
I
him.
told him, I suggested to him, you should talk about chess because he likes it and there's a community out there for it. And talk about how what you find in Riso is kind of like chess, trying to, make it blend in to his lingo. And he's like, "Oh, I haven't thought of that. I should probably do it." But then it would also niche down. A lot of people wouldn't
Yeah.
understand chess. I'm more of when it comes to chess, I'm more of like a defensive player. Like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna live as long as I can, knowing I'm gonna lose.
I'll have to play him. He'll probably smoke me because I've never like taken any classes or anything, but like I enjoy playing chess. Like I've never actually sat down and tried to like learn
Learn, yeah.
about philosophy or the moves or things like that, but I enjoy playing it.
It's an art when you see people that are actually playing. It gets intense.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
to
for
see
sure.
these little
Hmm.
objects being moved around and why, and it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, and the checkmate is like, oh, it's an event within itself.
So you still doing your push-up challenge?
I actually stopped. It's funny because my wife's probably gonna. She just got back or she just woke up. I just heard the door. Um, she was like, "Babe, my coworkers." My wife's a nurse, and she was like, "Babe, my coworkers are saying, Sonny hasn't made his any push-up videos. What happened to that?" And I was like, "Just because I don't record it doesn't mean I'm not doing push-ups." So I've been doing more than push-ups. I've been exercising at the gym and doing a lot more cardio. Now starting to implement weights. So I'm gonna become a
Yeah.
beast within about six months from now. It's my goal. Shred down, lose my
Hey, me
belly.
too, man.
Plus 10 pounds.
Well, I'll be right. I'm hoping to just add a belly and some muscle, but
Oh, don't add the belly. Add muscle, don't add the belly. Watch what you
yeah,
watch what
so I am like the doctor just said I'm like 90% healed from my surgery. So I threw a barbell on my back 2 days ago. Did some squats, and then I bench pressed today. So I'm hoping to get deep into it again. I really enjoy working out, so I'm really excited to get back into that. It's gonna be sweet.
That's good. Make sure you recover properly though, because sometimes
Yeah.
we feel good and we feel like we already got it and we're there, and then before you know it, you just injure yourself even more.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really hard for me because it's a climbing gym that also
Mhm.
has free weights and barbell and stuff. And I'm just gonna be tempted to go climb, and that is all all core and all pulling movements. And
Oh,
so that's where you can slip that hernia back out. But
yeah,
the
don't
mesh
do
is like it's good to go. Like honestly, like me and my wife were saying today, it's like my left side now is like completely taken care of, but my right isn't. And just because of my genetics and stuff, I know that I'll probably have another hernia sometime on the right side. And I'm like, hey, we already paid the deductible. Like, let's just slip that second one. Let's just get it taken
hell
care
no.
of. Oh man, two hernia surgeries in 6 months. That would suck.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Oh man, have you ever had a hernia? The more I talk about it, the more I learn that every single adult male that I come in contact with has had at least one.
No, I was telling you though, when you told me you had a hernia, I was like, at least three people I know in the reseller community that has had them for years now, and I'm like, man. And some people can't do nothing about it because of where it's at and because of body weight. Like sometimes you can't do surgery on it because of these other factors. It's
Uh-huh.
scary. Has to be
Yeah.
painful too. Living with pain sucks.
Yeah. Luckily, mine wasn't painful. It was just clearly there and obvious. And I'm like, oh man, if I try to lift anything really heavy, my guts will spill out of me. Or because I'm what's called an idiot. So like while I
A
had
big
my
one.
hernia, I was still playing. I was still freaking trying to just rip golf clubs with a driver. Or like I'd play sand volleyball and I'd lay out and dive for hard to reach balls and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I might just freaking rip this one day.
It was like a day or two after Jay Wright got his surgery. I was texting him and I was like, "How are you doing?" And I'm expecting I'm alright. It's painful. He was like, "Oh, I already went out thrifting." I
Yeah.
was like, "What?" Like, dude, take it easy, you freaking nutso.
Well, so I brought my dad with me so he
Mhm.
can he could
Right.
grab the receivers and stuff like that. And anything over 11 pounds, I had him grab. But my
Yeah.
my dad, dude, my dad's killing it on eBay. He's already sold. I think he told me 81 items today. So he's doing really good. He's already selling like 4 or 5 a day. He only has like I think he has just under 200 listed now. Yeah, he's killing it. He's doing really
Yeah,
good.
any of y'all have, did you get your parents that are watching, have you gotten your parents or even grandparents or even niece and nephews, have you got any of your family members to start thrifting? Shout out to my friend Mikey Bags of Money. He got his mom into thrifting,
Yeah.
and reselling, and he says she does very well too. So it's for everybody who wants to make some either passive income or just make a living off of it. You get to decide what you want. But what I like about reselling is I think about the hard times that it took to even find a job here in Las Vegas, and the time when I learned about reselling, I was making more money with less effort than the process of you got to do a physical, you got to do these certificates, you need to turn in your diploma. Oh, you're in college. I need that degree. All these different things that people need. But when it comes to reselling, you just got to go spend a little money, make a lot more, and do it on your own time and be willing to do it because the big change of a business is they lay out what the rules are and the schedule and a policy, and it's easy to follow those. And you say, I wish I could do this on my own and have my own job. But then you don't make these rules and regulations for yourself to follow. And it ends up being back to earlier, we were talking about, I'll do it later. I'll do it next time. And then it becomes something that some people need to be structured. I find that I need a little structure, but I don't need it entirely. I just need every once in a while, my wife would check up on me and check out my office and be like, really? Like you're doing it again. I'm like, you're right. I'm going to take care of it now and stop saying tomorrow. I do my best now. And that's why I really like my daily vlogs. It's keeping me in track because I'm seeing myself and what I'm doing and know I could do much more.
Yeah, it's important to have a good relationship with this, but every time I sit down, I just hear Kobe's voice in my head saying, Finish at the end, not in the middle. Dude, every single time, man. It's really awesome. I get a lot done. You know, trying to make a ton of money and being able to do whatever I want every single day. And part of that is just sacrificing 5 hours of your day to just really get everything done. Because you can do, like, if you actually think about what you do every single day, and I don't recommend doing this because of burnout, but you can really do everything you do in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And depending on your sourcing route, sometimes you have to actually drive a lot longer. But outside of like the drive time, like you can consistently do your day in under 4 hours. But that isn't healthy, it's not sustainable, and so you shouldn't do that. But you really could just like get so much done, but we put that space in between things a lot.
Yeah. Because we like it.
Yeah.
We like that freedom to decide, but we don't like to do it once it comes down to it. Most of
Mhm.
us, at least. I got this comment on my own video today. How much do I list? How much items do I list a day? And I don't look at list like a number because I feel like if say I reach 15 items and I'm still in the flow, I don't want to say I'm cut off here. I limited myself. I just look at $300 worth of stuff. But again, there could be one item worth $300. So I know I still got all this other stuff I could list and just enjoy it and relax and listen to something. Like rehearing our own Reseller Island podcast because it's that good. I listened to it twice.
Boom. I listen to it every time just to see where I can improve and be like,
Right.
oh man, and you talk too much, or it's just things like that. But I talk
I
too
don't
much.
think, I don't think anybody could ever talk enough when you're giving out information that could help somebody out. I feel like I always feel I could give more, but again, it's learning about yourself and trying to talk better, speak better. I get tongue tied and paused in my thoughts to where I have these long gaps. And I've learned to
Yeah,
share those because other people have those too. And they're often that self-conscious would be, I can't talk or I don't want to talk to people because I have these, mental barriers in my head. So I like to share this stuff now of how I actually talk, rather than trying to make a video sound really, really good because
yeah.
that's not me. I just like to be more of the raw nature of how I struggle with things and how I process to show you could get through it if you wanted to.
Well, one thing that I learned from rewatching back the podcast is a lot of times you're speaking and I'm just like thinking about what I'm gonna say next, and that is, it's a good
Selfish.
thing because
That is selfish.
I
Oh
have
my goodness. No, I'm just
what's that?
I said that is selfish. You don't even listen. I
I
listen
know.
to every word
No,
you
no,
say.
it's just like a weakness that a lot of very strong communicators have. It's like,
For
oh well,
sure.
I just, and so it's not something that I noticed, like, okay, yeah, like it's still flowing well, but it could flow even better if I'm like actually, like responding to what Sonny is saying instead of just letting him speak and then I speak, and then
Now it's
he
your turn,
speaks,
my
and then I
turn. Yeah.
speak. Yeah, it's just a lot better when it's like a conversation and it's flowing. And if I'm thinking of something, but you're actually going in a different direction, and then I just like pivot right back to something else, just doesn't sound as good. Especially when you freaking edit it sometimes. Like you'll like cut out like 15 words that you said, and then it like cuts over to me, and it like seems like I'm just like steamrolling you. It's
Nobody
funny.
would know that. But we
I know.
have been having technical issues on our end, so I try to
Okay.
make it flow better, but I also don't want things being cut out. Like there will be some brr in there,
Yeah.
but hoping that those who are listening can grasp what you're saying or I'm saying, because I feel like what we say is valuable and it's
Yeah,
time
for
that we're
sure.
giving and hope that it helps other people to not feel alone. But most importantly, our mutually would be learning something that could help them process through what they're doing and also be entertaining to where it has that good sound of there's more than just me being by myself with what they're listing and what they're doing. They don't even have to be listing. They could just be doing something on their own in house, washing dishes, cleaning the house,
Yep.
or just sitting on a couch and just relaxing and listening to something, not worrying about anything. So we hope this is good for everybody. I find it very enjoyable. I think we're getting close to getting monetized.
Yeah, I think this one will probably put us over if we get like 200 more subscribers, but we're not super worried about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be fun. But tell us about the flea market, man.
The flea market, I don't see
So you
myself.
were a vendor, right?
Yeah, I was a vendor. I
Yeah.
sold this past weekend there. Sunday was horrible. It rained. It was only supposed to rain for about 2 hours, but we all know the weather's news information is never correct. It rained from the day before all the way up until around 10 a.m. And I was there under my own little tarp. It was me and my
Yeah.
friend Carrie, the Desert Mermaid. We had all of our stuff under there, and we're still selling items with things under this little 10 by 10 tent canopy. And if that's not motivating enough to be like rain, sleet, or snows, I'm still gonna sell stuff and figure it out.
That's when I was
What's
in
the done
Sedona, so it was raining and snowing the whole time. Just our whole little tri-state area was just getting dumped on.
before, like I had a friend come out who's a reseller, and he was digging through my totes. I had the covers with them. Luckily, we bought them because they're on sale at Costco or something at the time.
Yep.
But he was opening up and I was moving them and he was sorting through them. Within about 30 minutes, I already made $100. And then two ladies came and they just swooped up all of my craft jewelry, the project pile, and they just swooped it all.
Project
So that
on.
was like another $80 in less than an hour and a half. And I was just like, dude, come on, you know, just chilling, meeting people. And these were other vendors that I'm probably gonna end up buying my stuff back from and be like, that looks cool. I could work on that.
Yeah, there's this old guy at my thrift store that he's there every single morning. And he's like, "Yeah, I gotta mark. I mark my electronics because I donate them, and then I end up rebuying them sometimes." So he's like, "I gotta mark it to make sure I'm not rebuying what I already donated." It's
Oh,
funny.
that's funny. The big difference of me being a vendor there at the flea market is that I'm actually learning the customers who are looking for stuff. For example, there's this one guy who looks for like retro 90s vintage Batman and Robin, like that type of stuff. And he has a collection probably worth hundreds of thousands. Like he has big posters, big actual like 3D model type stuff. He has quite a bit of stuff. And he said, hey, if you ever find this stuff, like I pay for this. But it's cool to find these potential customers because I might come across stuff and be like, I don't want this, but maybe I could shoot him a message and get a cut off of it.
This is the podcast mascot right here.
Yeah, there you
This
go.
is Scout.
What's up,
Say
Scout?
hi, Scout. Say hi. Look, you see him?
She's
They're right there.
she's beautiful.
You're talking to like 600 people right now, Scout.
I want to say there's gonna be like 100 people now, 800 people now.
But yeah, no, yeah. Being the flea market vendor, it's a different aspect. You get to see because like you were saying, you ask people what they look for so you can
Mhm.
learn and kind of get out of your own groove too. And it's like, oh well, now you can see what people are actually really looking for, especially if you have a wide variety of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, especially the stuff that I've been taking is stuff that I look for all the time. Communicating with people not only on what to buy and sell, but informing them, hey, if you like this stuff, see what other things I find on my YouTube channel. So I'm plugging myself in on there and getting subscribers. So I'm trying to make it all work
Yeah, yeah.
smarter. Like I said, back to
All
Kevin,
put all those
thinking about
streams together.
yeah, just it's all one avenue, one direction. I'm just trying to grow and expand, just not trying to expand my waist size, trying to
So are
everything
you a,
else.
are you a Harry or a Liam guy?
Ah, I'll say
Just
Liam.
talking about one direction, you know.
Yeah, I'm saying more like a Liam.
Yeah, so was that, hey, I'm gonna get rid of a ton of stuff, or hey, I'm gonna make some extra cash at the flea
Oh,
market?
I made extra crap. My intention is clear out the stuff that I have. I don't want to bring anything back. I
Yep.
of course want to make profits. I'm not trying to lose money ever, and I haven't been. I made with that horrible Saturday. Sunday was amazing. It was a beautiful day. Now, all these shoppers I knew that weren't able to go out the day before were going to come hungry for stuff. And I was already prepped and ready while the majority of the other visitors weren't because they didn't go on Saturday to set up like I did. And it showed even on Saturday that there was a lot of foot traffic when it did clear up. But by that time, it was like maybe 2 or 3 hours. The first day I made 250 something dollars on a bad day,
Mhm.
and that's actually okay because I do that same amount with the regular day. But then the following day, I ended up altogether made around $700, and then I still spent $70 on inventory. That's going to make me around $1,000.
Mhm.
Or could if I had it on eBay. I don't think it'll make me $1,000, but I want that fast flip. and then a couple of other glass piece items that would make me around $150 from actually, yeah, around $150 from around $25 buy. So I still shopped around, had fun. It wasn't just me selling, I was also sourcing for stuff.
Yeah, no, a lot of vendors will just buy from each other.
And
And
they also know you too. The more you come around and you talk to them, they're gonna recognize you and be like, "Hey, this guy bought this stuff." And they
yep,
often sometimes forget or don't put out everything. So you, as you get more familiar with them and vice versa them with you, they will be like, "Oh, that guy bought this last time. I have this in the box, or I didn't bring
I
it
got a box
today.
for you.
Hey,
Yep.
Jay, are you gonna come tomorrow or the next weekend? Because I'm gonna have a lot more stuff." So
Mhm.
communication is key with a lot of things. Don't just go to flea market and look what's on the table. Get to know the person on the other side that brings that stuff. If that's the kind of stuff you like, they're the ones that found it, and hopefully they find more stuff and ask for a business card, ask for their phone number, give them yours. That's helped out a lot too. Where a lot of the vendors that I like to buy from, I have their number and I'll text them. And that's just not at the Broadacres flea market. It's also the Boulder Highway swap meet, a smaller section flea market or swap meet here in Las Vegas.
I've been
That
to that
that
one too.
community is that community is awesome. I love them. They're very, very quiet. No music or anything playing.
Yeah, that's actually probably way better for content and stuff, huh?
It is. It is. I can't stand doing voiceovers because it takes so long and trying to get the music down. It's just a pain. It
Yeah.
saves time too when you don't have to do that.
Dude, for like 2 months, my thrift store had the loudest music, man. It was nuts. I'm like, oh, this sucks. But they finally turned it back down again, which is good. Which is good. So yeah, any big sales or interesting sales this week?
Big sale. Well, I got another viewer buy, not yet, but I know they're gonna pay for it. It's R2D2 vintage ice cooler that I bought for I think 14 bucks. So got somebody who came down and visited Vegas and they said they wanted it, so I took it off the listing.
Oh, nice.
One
I sold a Ring 2 complete system wireless indoor 10-piece alarm security set.
Wow.
Sold that for $200. It was listed for a grand total of 3 hours, I think. So that was dope. I sold a Bose AV35 control console for 185 bucks. It's pretty good. Dude, I sold Bose 5-piece set of cable, just cable wire. Sold that for $140. Just for cable. I've actually been doing so. I guess you could call those parting it out too, because that. So I sold the Bose AV35 control console, and then I sold the cables to it separately. So again, just parting things out. But yeah, and then today I found like a Segway 9 bot. You know those little like foot segways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of those chargers that sells for like $45. There's just like a lot of cords and cables and different little things that are very unassuming that sell for a ton of money.
Yeah, I have a friend who does not so much dumpster diving, but trash picking. And he
Yeah,
often finds like those little segways and the singular wheels, uni wheels, all these like updated gadgets, but
yeah.
never really with the cord. And he's always like, "Amigo, you think this will sell?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's worth like $1,000 bucks. It's gonna sell even without the cords. People will buy it here.
Mhm.
They could get that on Amazon or even on eBay. Like, look it up right now." So I'll look it up for him, like the model number, and then find it and be like, "Look, they're on there." So when you come across, he does more of like a professional yard salesman.
Yeah,
That's his style of reselling, and he kills it. Everything's 100% profit. Everything's free that he picks up, other than gas and time. But he finds some crazy stuff.
yeah. I mean, I sell a ton of no cord listings
Mm.
all the time. That's another thing when people are like, oh, that's a project. Like I have to buy a cord and test it and stuff. And it's like, no, just sell it as is without the cord. You know?
There was quite a bit of electronics I sold, but I had the cord to it, but I only had that one cord that fit multiple, say, VCRs.
Yep.
So I would test them, but I would always put tested without cord.
Yeah, I
So
do that
I
too.
had one person, email me or message me on eBay saying, "How can you test it without a cord?" It was like I have one cord to myself that
Yeah,
I
I,
use
I,
for
I
this.
answer that question all the time too.
So I could find them.
They're
I
like,
just
how is
know
this
what does
camera?
it.
How is this camera coming without a battery? Yeah, it's tested. I'm like, oh, because I have a ton of batteries that I used to test, and then I want to keep that battery to test the next camera that I get in.
Yeah, there's usually like a significant scratch or a scuff, something never ugly. that'll have like say the LED screen. It'll show it's on, and I take a photo with it on, not when it's off, so that way they see it powers,
Hmm.
things like that, the numbers of the VCR running or whatever, and then
Yeah.
I'll take it off. But yeah, I actually have some cords. I didn't. I'm pretty sure you didn't come this weekend because of you're out, but I do have cords. Like if you were to come down, I was like maybe he'll want these cords and stuff to
Oh yeah,
test out.
no, yeah. Keep all the cords. I'll probably be coming down sometime next week, like maybe like a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or something.
Yeah, I got some stuff.
Yeah, got some stuffs. But yeah, sales are good. Sales actually are down. I think I'm finally catching up to like the smaller store. Because now my sales, let's see, let's go to my overview here. No, I mean, for the week they're down. This is like the first week where I finally had like up and down sales because my store is smaller. So on Monday I did 725 followed by a 460 and then a 550, but then boom, 274 followed by a 210. I haven't seen 200 days in a really long time. But then yesterday I did 1060. So it's just like it's like pretty volatile for the first time in a while. And that's just because my store is shrinking significantly. But I don't know, dude. I'm kind of falling in love with just getting a smaller and smaller store. I was on Cat the Nurse Flipper and Rod Picking and Punching's live
Yeah,
yesterday.
I was watching it until the movie started.
Yeah, and so backstage, me and Flippy McFlipperson were talking because he was the other co-host, the other guest,
Guess other guess.
yeah, the other guest with me, and he's like, yeah, no, I had 1,500 items in my store like 2-3 months ago, and then he did a video about how his storage unit like doubled all of a sudden, and so he took everything out of his storage unit, and now he only has like 450 active listings. And he says he's making more money with 450 than he was with 1,500. And a lot of people get really upset when I say things like this. But when you focus on fast sell through rate items, you can have a smaller store and make just as much, if not more money, than with your slow sell through rate larger store.
Yeah, my OG eBay store because I have two of them.
Uh-huh.
That one I was looking at before I went live, and it's been averaging the past week 63 $64 average sale price. And
That's
that's
good.
that's really good because it used to be like around 40, which I thought was amazing because at first it was more like 20 25. That's until I started giving into buying things over $2.50. I always because I was on a different I wasn't prepared to spend more than 5,
Yeah.
$10 at a time. Now it's like I could go and spend $50, $100, $300, but I choose not to. I still have that scared tolerance of I don't want to do it unless it's worth it. But then I just does it sell good?
Yep.
What's the average sale price, quality, condition? What's the price I get it for? And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna buy it because I know that I can. Rather than before, I had no idea about average sale price. I just saw a listing. Wow, that sells for that much. I didn't know any better until I did, and then I was like, wow, why did I buy all this crap?
Yeah. I still have that hesitancy with larger priced items only on electronics. Everything else I'm good. It's like, oh yeah, this is $80, but it sells for 400. Yeah, I'll buy it. If it gets returned, like it gets returned, I'll just resell it. But like with electronics, it's tough because when you send out a working item and it gets to them and it's still working, but they decide they just don't want it anymore, they do not package it the way that you packaged it, and it arrives to you broken a lot. And then you're out that money. You can report them, or you can do the whole 50% refund, but then you can't resell it. It's not worth $400 anymore. And so if you paid $150 to get it, to flip it for 400, awesome business model, great flip. But when it's an electronic and there's that higher chance that it's going to come back as a return and broken, I'm a lot more hesitant. But if it's like a jacket, it's like, worst case scenario, I truly get scammed and someone gets ketchup all over this. That sucks, whatever. But the chances of that happening are so low that I'll spend 80 to sell for 250 all day. But if it's a receiver for 80 that sells for 250, that's tough. That's a lot tougher.
Yeah, that is tough. I've had
Um,
one person before. I think it was a mug. person was like, you know what, I don't like this mug, I'm sending it back. But he messaged me. He was
Mhm.
like, and this isn't how I would have packaged it, and you should have packaged it this way. So he ended up sending it how I guess he thought I should have packaged.
Broken.
It was broken. So I sent them photos and he got zero. And I gotta keep my monies. But it was
Yeah.
just like, wow, dude, like,
Dude,
but it
that's
happened.
that's hilarious. He's like, you should have packaged it this way. And
I
then,
was like, oh wow.
oh, man. Yeah, dude, that's funny. Dude, some people's children. Well, we had a little bit of technical issues right before the podcast, and then my headphones died halfway through. I'm really hoping that the audio is good on this.
Yeah,
We'll
we're
see what
trying to figure it
happens.
out, folks. Trying to figure it out for you.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what if any of you guys do a podcast and you guys have experience, or if you guys just know a little more technical stuff. So anybody's been doing a lot of research, and the last episode I thought was great, but again, this episode I think there's going to be some audio issues, and if any of you guys have tips or tricks or knowledge about that, maybe I'll contact Justin. Do you know Justin? He's pretty big in the trash to cash community. He did the Amazing Race, and he actually was on an episode of Trash to Cash, and he's like, "Hey, you guys suck. You need to change things." You remember that guy?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah. No, it was funny. Like Dave just brought him on for like 15 minutes, and he's like, "Oh my man, you guys like you're not even a real podcast, and you guys like don't talk about anything. And every time Kevin has something actually good to say, you guys attack him, and it just like pisses people off. So you guys need to change everything." But like I'm actually gonna I know him. We've messaged each other a few times, so maybe I'll message Justin and see if he has any tips. Because dude, it's so frustrating to hear those audio issues.
Yeah, I've been meaning to. The other day, the Seller Club. I wanted to message them because their podcast is really good. Their audio is really good.
Who?
The Seller Club.
The Seller Club? Oh yeah, good audio go a long way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going really well. But yeah, guys, we really appreciate you guys coming out, listening to us talk about reselling and all
Yeah.
that good stuff, everything that's going on in our lives. But yeah,
Yeah,
Sunny,
and also, I like the activity that's going on in our Facebook group. Thank you for joining us over there.
yeah,
There's been people posting up what they found and some other stuff, which is fun. I love the interactions. That tells me that you're hearing us say go over there. The message is getting crossed, to be directed. I still look forward to seeing what people have to sell, what we could learn from you as well. And hope you're having a great week. Find some good stuff.
we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Jordan.
Wait. Uh-oh, you're frozen. Can you hear me?
Really? Yeah, I
Okay,
can hear
you
you.
move it again. Okay, we can just cut this stuff out
Yeah.
if we want.
Cut
Keep
it
doing
out.
this. I think you keep breathing. Okay, I think it's pretty good now.